Hello. Take a deep breath in and a really nice long exhale. Do that again. Inhale. And now feel it. Feel your exhale. Feel it. Sensation. Awareness. The gift of yoga. Bringing yourself into conscious awareness. I have been a yoga teacher since the late 80s, and I am a very humble practitioner of these tools of yoga always. I'm always in a practice. In 1991, though, I decided to go back and get a master's in clinical and counseling psychology. I wanted to be a better yoga teacher. I wanted more tools in my toolbox, and today I think that's the most important thing I've done. I've been able to merge Eastern philosophy with Western psychology. And today, as a yoga therapist, I am seeing, finally, we're looking at this as a holistic model. So, 1991, Time Magazine, headlines, Prozac, wonder drug. This is the first time we started to introduce pharmaceuticals into mental health. Today, we are in an epidemic. I see clients. I work for a company, ICM. It's an integrated care management company. They refer clients to me. 100% of my clients are on pharmaceutical drugs, many as 5 at a time. We are in an epidemic now of anxiety and depressive disorders. So my work, basically, is to find balance in being able to detox and get people to eliminate some of these drugs. I work with psychiatrists in tandem. I work with doctors. I do not take anybody off these pharmaceuticals on my own. I work in relationship. About a year and a half ago, a student walked in, became a client, seeing me one-on-one. She came in because she was under great anxiety, massive depression of worried about how am I going to function in my life. She was about 45, Diane. And the first thing she said to me was, I am so sorry. She was apologizing for having these emotional disturbances. And she didn't quite understand anymore how she was going to function in the world. She came to yoga therapy. This is amazing. We are finding more and more people wanting to live life functioning. So she came, and I started to work with her one-on-one at a heart-to-heart connection. And you meet somebody right where they are. You're not meeting somebody from authority. You're not trying to look down. You're meeting right heart-to-heart. From that place, she could barely take a breath. She had been struggling with trauma all her life, had been sexually abused as a child,
Hello,
had been
no one
massively
is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
She had been frustrated with everything she had been doing, trying to get life right. And these drugs were preventing her from functioning. She couldn't focus at work anymore. She was taking days off from work. She was finding she couldn't sleep at night. And so I started very simply. You meet someone you are. I work with a 5-dimensional system, the Krishnamacharya lineage. I bring in the awareness of body, breath, thought, behavior, and mood or emotions. These are 5 systems that are influenced by the tools of yoga. I can use the tools of yoga on the 8 limbs of yoga, working with the sutras and the teachings, to actually influence all these physical symptoms that are manifested through the thought. So ultimately, what I'm doing is bringing people into awareness, a conscious awareness in the physical body. So to get somebody to feel conscious in their body, you have to feel safe. So I have to cultivate space. I have to hold that space in a nurturing way, a loving way. And because love is not intellectual, I have to do it from a place of acceptance. I have to do my own work. I have to feel, yes, I'm not afraid to sit in my sadness. I'm not afraid to grieve. I'm not afraid to look at uncertainty, but I don't know the answers. I just simply am willing. I'm willing to look and discern maybe that thought is not serving me. So as I inspire Diane and my clients to move in another direction, we are looking at the tools of yoga. And I brought in breath, pranayama, the most beautiful tool, because it's subtle. Now breath is influenced, and you feel breath. You can touch breath inside. You can feel it. Now I use touch appropriately. This is the most important thing as a yoga therapist. I'm able to touch. And my teacher would always say that be aware of the tools, because they're like a knife. Used inappropriately, they can harm yourself and they can harm others. So awareness of touch as an effect, somatically, to link the mind to the attention of where it goes. So she was able to actually feel safe enough to know that she didn't have breath going into her belly. So if she places her hands on her own body, she begins to feel. If I was just to touch the top of her head, it could be a sense of, oh, I'm gripping. And she wouldn't even know that she's gripping in the back of the neck or the shoulders. So we begin to be aware of where she's holding that tension. If I can get the somatic experience to release from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic, now the body is starting to integrate into a new awareness. We start to awaken. Why I love yoga so much. We awaken the ocean, the heart. The mind of yoga is resting deeper than the little intellect. So she was able to observe that that thought might no longer serve. And instead of fighting the thought, I always tell my clients, thank your thought. Thank it. Just watch it. Thank it. Don't go into it. Don't try to argue with it. Don't try to have a relationship with that thought. Just exhale. Let the thought move through. Just observe it as sensation. Know that it's a habit you've learned so well. Forgive yourself. You learned it. Now she was able to take these tools, and she was so sweetly able to introduce ways to bring that breath in. I introduced sound. So I gave her her mantra, a way to use sound. So as she would go around her house going so hum, and at first this little squeaky voice, this teeny little sound wanting to come out. And then she would start to expand her sound and start to giggle and laugh because she would catch herself with that sound. And the sweetest thing is watching somebody start to embrace the awareness that there's possibility. There's possibility in space. So I'm not afraid to sit in sadness. Never tell your clients you're going to fix, cure. It's simply tools to be able to remove the obstacle and move forward. So she was able to accept where she was. So her self-esteem started to grow. A year and a half later, she comes in. She's off medicines, off medication. She has worked with a psychiatrist. She has found herself sleeping at night, which was her greatest fear, was not being able to sleep. She was exhausted. She's been able to make huge life changes. She actually made a discerned choice to leave her job. She had been working at the same job for 25 years. She's now risking to go off to find new things. And what she wants to do is help others to remove these obstacles in their lives. She's inspired to want to serve in life. And that's what we're only doing. We're only linking one light to another. And the joy is that we get to share these tools from both models, from the Western psychology field into the Eastern philosophy of yoga tools. So if you all have any questions, any way that you want to engage with me, I'm happy to answer anything and be available the next 4 days here, and I would love to share more of these stories. Thank you.
Great now.